Track and field has a problem, and his name is Noah Lyles. Because every single season, people somehow forget how this man works. He starts slow, everyone panics, everyone starts crowning somebody else. Then championships arrive, and suddenly, he becomes the final boss of sprinting. And after this weekend, that cycle might be happening all over again. Because between Shanghai, Tokyo, and NCAA chaos, one message became very clear. Sprint season is getting dangerous. Let's start in Tokyo. Noah Lyles, legal 9.95. And honestly, that time might not even tell the full story. Because if you've watched Noah for long enough, you already know the formula. The start, usually not elite. The first 30 meters, sometimes messy. But once he stands upright, everything changes. His stride opens, his cadence sharpens, and suddenly, people start disappearing beside him. That's exactly what happened in Tokyo. He dusted Japan's best, and did it looking way too comfortable. What makes this scary isn't just the time, it's when the time happened. It's May. Normally Noah takes time to warm into a season. Last year, he opened late, still won global gold. The year before, same story. But now, he's already running one of the fastest legal times in the world. And his reaction wasn't even great, which means there's a pretty uncomfortable question for everybody else. If this is early season Noah, what happens when championship Noah shows up? Seriously, who beats him? Because every year we do this dance. People convince themselves he's vulnerable, that someone else has figured him out. Then he reminds everyone why he owns global championships. And honestly, the competition isn't making things any easier. Because while Noah was handling business in Tokyo, Shanghai quietly turned into sprint warfare. Gift Leotlella storms to victory in 9.97. And look at the field he beat, world-class names everywhere. This wasn't some easy win, this was survival. And honestly, the result says a lot about where sprinting sits right now. Because the men's 100 isn't dominated by one guy anymore. It's depth, real depth. Australia's Lachlan Kennedy keeps proving he's not a fluke. The start? Electric. For a moment, he's actually leading serious world-class sprinters. Now yes, his top-end speed still needs polishing, but 10.01 against this field? That's real. And if the progression keeps coming, 9.9 might not be far away. Then there's Letsile Tebogo, and honestly, his opener might have quietly killed one of track and field's favorite myths, relay splits. Because after the World Relays, people were losing their minds over Tebogo's supposed split. Historic, all-time, superhuman. Then he opens his individual season in 10.12. Still fast, still dangerous. But maybe, just maybe, relay splits don't tell the whole truth. And that's the thing about early season. Everyone wants answers immediately, but sometimes, the times create more questions. Which brings us to Christian Coleman. And man, this one hurts. Because Coleman has always been one thing above everything else. The greatest starter alive. Maybe the greatest starter ever. The first half of his race? Pure violence. Nobody attacks the blocks like Christian Coleman. Over 30, 40, even 50 meters, he looks untouchable. But sprinting isn't won at 40 meters, and that's where things get ugly. This weekend, Coleman opened with the slowest season opener he's had in nearly a decade. That's not normal, and when you slow the race down, the issue becomes impossible to ignore. Early on, everything looks fine. Fast turnover, huge acceleration. Then, deeper into the race, something changes. His stride shortens, his mechanics tighten, and instead of attacking the track, it almost looks like he's fighting himself. Meanwhile, other sprinters stay relaxed, tall, smooth. Coleman still explodes early, but the speed leaks away. And honestly, that's terrifying if you're a Coleman fan. Because this isn't some new issue. He's been chasing a solution for years, trying to trade a little of that 60-meter dominance for better finishing speed. But right now, it feels like he's stuck in the middle. Not quite the same nuclear starter, and still vulnerable late. Now look, maybe this is just rust. Maybe he figures it out. He's still Christian Coleman. But for the first time in a long time, people are starting to ask uncomfortable questions. And while the men's sprint world looks chaotic, the women might be even scarier, because quietly, the queens are coming back. Shericka Jackson opens in Shanghai with 22.07. And no, that isn't some earth-shattering time, but context matters. This is one of her strongest season openers ever, and after years of injuries, missed momentum, and inconsistency, that matters a lot. Because when Shericka is healthy, she's not just elite, she's one of the fastest women humanity has ever produced. And suddenly, the women's sprint picture looks terrifying. Elaine Thompson-Herah, looking sharper again. Gabby Thomas, healthy. Julian Alfred, dangerous. Melissa Jefferson, still rising. And Jamaica, already stacking ridiculous depth. 8 women under 11 seconds this year. 8. Think about that. And somehow, it keeps getting crazier. Because the next generation isn't waiting politely either. They're already here. Adasia Hodge drops a 21.9 in the NCAA at 20 years old, which sounds ridiculous, because it is ridiculous. And suddenly, the women's 200 might become the most brutal event in track and field this season. Legends returning, champions healthy again, teenagers running world-class times, and now Shericka looking dangerous too. So yeah, a lot happened this weekend. But if there's one thing I'm taking away, it's this. Sprint season feels different. Noah Lyles already looks terrifying. The 100 meters has real depth again. Christian Coleman is fighting questions he can't ignore forever. And the women's sprint scene? That might become complete chaos. And honestly, the season hasn't even really started yet.